Lastly, there is no such thing as magic in Middle-earth. There can be ethereal beings, but no magic. Even Gandalf possesses no magical powers, he merely controls fire to some extent. So the notion of Zara being a magical being is absolutely impossible.
I'm talking!
It took me that long. Right outside. Subtubers, and welcome back to my channel. This week we are diving back into a familiar world, but many years in the future of where we're used to. We're going back to Middle-earth, this time for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I mean the movies, not the books. I've read the books, but my writing's on the movies. I have very few book-oriented characters. Sabrina, Heidi, and Taryn are my book-oriented characters. Everyone else comes off of TV shows or movies, stuff like that. Diving into the world of Lord of the Rings for the first time, please say hello to my character, Zara. There are about 1 million different ways to pronounce Zara's name. I go with Zara, as I said. Feel free to say it however you in your brain please. I promise I won't be offended. I know everyone pronounces things differently, though I do tend to correct people if I think they've said something the wrong way. I'm a writer. Shush, it's habit. I have made more than my fair share of original characters. Last count, 92. I think it might be up to 93, but I think I'm still at 92. Please, no judgment. Remember, it's only a problem if you run out of ideas. But when I first dipped my toes into the world of Middle-earth, or more specifically Lord of the Rings, because that is where I started, I knew I was going to be facing an interesting time. Zara is the type of character that not everyone's going to agree with or even like, but I was okay with that. She was my first dive into Middle-earth, and I was proud of her. Never did I expect to get a review telling me that magic doesn't exist in Middle-earth. I still have trouble. I read the part of the review to you guys at the beginning where magic doesn't exist. And quite honestly, the first time I saw it, I was like, was this review from Vernon Dursley? It's one of those things where you get it and you have to laugh because that's all you can do. It is so ridiculous, you have to laugh. I didn't read you the whole review because it was mainly critiquing my writing, and back in 2010, my writing did need a lot of help. But I keep the review up because if I'm ever in a bad mood or my best friend's in a bad mood, we literally go back, we read that review, and we feel better because it's just so ridiculous. Everyone needs to be entertained by it. They did give quite a passionate argument. I will say that, but it's just one of those things where you have to laugh because you just have to laugh. For those who don't know what Lord of the Rings is, where have you been? I am going to be linking my source of Lord of the Rings information outside of the movies and the books down below. Fall into the rabbit hole and welcome to the insanity. It is probably the least insane fandom I follow, but it's definitely up there. And it can do a better job of explaining things well enough where I could never do it justice. Creating Zara was just a little bit of fun to start with. I want to say most of my characters start that way, but they all usually have a purpose. I didn't intend for Zara to become a full-fledged character, kind of like Lyra back for Harry Potter. She was a one-shot character. I didn't intend for her to be more, and now she's got 2 stories. I was just tinkering around with things, and there Zara sprouted. First, she was an independent character with no ties to anyone. Somewhere, somehow along the way, she became Aragorn's sister. Don't ask me how it happened. It definitely wasn't the plan, but it worked out for them and how the story unfolded. I have gotten a few critiques on Zara saying I didn't add any original twists or anything to her storyline, and I will agree with that. If I did it again, I would do it differently, but when I originally posted Zara, it was one of my first delves into putting an original character into writing, and I wasn't sure what I was comfortable with changing, what I was comfortable with doing. I knew adding her in there was going to change things, but I didn't want to change them too much. I wasn't comfortable with the idea yet of changing things. But I did grow into it. I did accept, you know, okay, I could have done this differently, I could have done this differently, you know. And as I said, if I did it again, and I might edit her and rewrite her, I would do it differently. But for now, she is what she is. When Zara finally became a character of her own, I knew I wanted her to possess magic. I've always loved the idea of magic. In case the dozens of magical characters I've already posted about didn't give that away, I had a tree stump in my backyard that was my fairy ring. I believed the fully grown tree in my backyard could talk to me, and his name was George. I used to go looking for magical creatures in my grandparents' forest. I have always loved magic. And I love working it into my characters when it's possible. So with Lord of the Rings, I knew Zara could have some form of magic. She's not a wizard and she's not an elf. She's considered a sorceress. She's feared because not a lot of people understand her magic, but she embraces what makes her different, even if she does allow the opinions of others to affect her. Although her magic is the true uniqueness to her, she's also very strong-willed, determined, and a very good fighter even without her magic. Aragorn trained her so she would be able to defend herself should she ever find herself without him or without the ability to use her magic. The easiest part of writing Zara is her independence, even from her brother. She's very much the type of character that can stand out on her own, do her own thing, but she prefers working with others. She has strength, knowledge, and skill to rule in her own right, no matter where she is, but she defers to Aragorn and those born into leadership. Yes, technically she's second in line for the throne, but she's got Aragorn and she knows she will always defer to him because it is his true place. But if the time comes where she needs to step up and lead, she has no problem doing so, even if some wish she wouldn't. Whether it's because she's female or a magic user, there are going to be people that are like, you don't belong here, but she's going to be like, yes, I do. The hardest part when it comes to writing Zara is battle scenes. Technically, it has nothing to do with her aside from the fact that she's in them, but I hate battle scenes. I know the irony given most of my characters, but I can't stand battle scenes. I just don't have the correct knowledge or the vast enough vocabulary to do any fight I write justice. I don't have, I don't have military knowledge. I don't have weaponry knowledge. I don't have the vocab I need to get these things across. I work my way through them, though, writing and rewriting scenes over and over if I need to. It took a long time to write each battle that takes place within the 3 movies that make up the Lord of the Rings series. I'm not going to lie about that. I think the easiest one to write was the first attack by the Uruk-hai at the end of Fellowship of the Ring when they go save Boromir. I honestly think that was the easiest one to write. The rest of them was... I mean, there's one that I literally just skip over the entirety of. Because I'm like, I can't do this. Because literally every time I watch the scene, I'm like, the armies of Mordor just got wiped out by green snot. And if you've seen Return of the King, you know what scene I'm talking about. Because that's basically what it looks like. They just got wiped out by snot. So I can't stand fight scenes. And unfortunately, she is in basically all of them. And it makes it very difficult to write. Best memory for Zara has nothing to do with herself. It has to do with her brother. As is with a lot of my characters. A lot of my characters, their best memories don't necessarily circle around themselves, but it's seeing the happiness and the joy of the people around them. And for Zara, it's watching Aragorn see Arwen after he's crowned King of Gondor. One would think seeing him alive after thinking he was dead during Two Towers would be her happy moment, but she's so overwhelmed by so many other things while she's missing that she never truly, after the initial shock, she never really lets herself be overwhelmed by the pain, so she doesn't really feel I don't want to say she doesn't feel, happy about seeing him back. Obviously, she's happy about seeing him back, but she doesn't feel the true extent of it. She doesn't allow herself to feel the true extent of the pain or the happiness because so much else is going on. But when he's standing there among their people and sees the woman he loves more than life itself, seeing him so happy is more than she could have ever hoped for when they return to claim their kingdom. Worst memory ties into Aragorn's death and Arwen dying in Return of the King. Aragorn obviously is her family. All that she's had for so long, and when they first think she's dead, it crashes over her like a wave. If it hadn't been for Legolas and Gimli being with her, she would have just sunk to the ground and stayed there. But when they collect the wounded and head to Helm's Deep, like I said, she pushes it back because there's so many other things that she needs to take care of. But that initial moment is crushing for her. And then finding out that the war would take Arwen's life without her ever fighting in a battle, it's almost too much. Arwen, during her relationship with Aragorn, becomes a sister to Zara. She loves her and she cares about her almost as much as she does Aragorn. They're both so important to her that the idea of losing them is more than she can stomach. Like I said, Zara was never supposed to be a full-fledged character, so she had no original plans. I was just tinkering around in the world of Lord of the Rings. She just formed and we ran with the idea from there. And she's completely posted. I will post her story down below in the description. If you want to take a look and read it, or even if you want to just go look at the review, because it will make you giggle. As it does me, still to this day. But her run was so amazing. Like I said, one day I may go back, if I ever find myself with some spare time, which, yeah. One day I may go back and, you know, tinker with her, rewrite some things, put in that battle scene I should have written. But for now, that is our character breakdown for Zara. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you prefer, The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings? Or are you unable to choose and you just love Middle-earth overall, because that one's me. As always, all of my social media handles will be down in the description below, along with my blog if you want to read the post that goes along with this video. It does not have the review in it, but like I said, I've got it linked. I got the story linked so you can find the review easily enough and enjoy it. If you haven't, please hit that thumbs up button. It means the world to me to know you guys like my videos and that you like videos of this type. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already. And turn on your notification bell, making sure to set your notification settings for all, so you get a notification not just every time I upload, but so everyone you follow gives you a notification when they upload. And I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye.